Welcome back. Thank you for clicking on today's video. We've been in a discussion about the analysis of one quantitative variable. Today, we are actually going to be doing some coding where we're doing analysis with R for one quantitative variable. So because we're kind of new to R and working with R, I'm going to remind you of some things that we have talked about in previous videos, but it helps to be able to see things more than once. So we're going to start with calling for some data. So I am going to assign to this object called GVSU with the left-handed arrow the data set that I have uploaded, which is a CSV file. So I'm doing read.csv, and then I'm doing GVSU dot, I almost did edu, you know, like the, okay, dot CSV, because that's the file name. I'm going to say header. Actually, header equals true. And we're doing that, remember, because the first row of that data set is the variable names. And then it's best practice to say how it is separated. And this is separated by commas. So I read that in. I did my shortcut key. I highlighted it. I did Control Enter, and it ran that line. Now, we are working with the Mosaic package. And as a reminder, to install a package, so you would say install.packages, and you would say what the package is that you want to load. Well, I actually already have this installed, so I don't need to run it, but it's helpful to have that code and to see it. I have it loaded, so now you'll notice when I call for the library and I start typing Mosaic, it gives me the suggestion, thank you, R. Sometimes I need it. And so now when I run this code, it's going to load this library into this project. So one thing that always gets me, it's actually two things that gets me. The plural on install, because it's install packages, that's always the code for it. And this one requires that you have the quotes around it, which is different from when you call for the library. So something to notice. Then I have the data, I have the library. We are going to start by doing just some basic numeric summaries. Now, I like to, when I code, write myself notes and to label things. So, we are going to do some, I think it's called fave stats. And when I do this, I'm going to use the tilde to say what variable I want, and we're going to do sleep. And you know what? Actually, I want to show you something. So this right now is listed as sleep, and I'm going to call for my data, and I'm going to run this, and it ran, but nothing came up. Why? So I'm going to say names, and I'm going to ask R to tell me what the names are. Now, you see here, sleep is actually in all caps. So I'm going to try to run this again. And again, I'm using my shortcut keys, so Control Enter. Now something came up. So one thing that is helpful, and you can do this at any point, but I like to have that name code in there so I know what the variable names are. Now that fave stats, you can see that the tilde is, and this is the variable that you need, and then the data name, and it gives you lots of information. So let's try that again. So we're going to do fave stats, and this time we'll do tilde, and I'm going to call for sex, that was one of the variable names, and do data, and then equals GVSU. And I'm going to do the highlighting of it, and then Control Enter is my shortcut key. What the heck? What happened here? Well, sex is a categorical variable, and these are numeric summaries for quantitative data. So, no go. So remember, this fave stats code is for quantitative data, not categorical. All right. So let's switch and do study. That's another variable that we have. And sometimes the suggestions that R gives you, not that helpful. Sometimes you don't want them. So you just ignore it and keep typing. So this is study. You can see that it's giving you It's giving you the minimum, Q1, the median, Q3, and the maximum. Do you remember what those 5 numbers are? Yes, that's right, the 5-number summary. Good job. And then we have the mean, standard deviation is the SD, and then we have the count, so how many individuals are in the group and how many missings we have. That means that we have an observation, but for this particular variable, they didn't answer how many hours they study, and so it becomes a missing. So some of the numeric summaries that you can do are the fave stats, but you also can do quantile, and with that, it's the same format, so you would have the tilde, and then we could do sleep, and then we can call for the data. And sometimes that NA remove equals true is valuable because I know I have some missing. And so it will make the output more, let's say, precise. So when I run that, it gives you percentiles. Specifically, it gives you the percentiles for the 5-number summary. So we have 2 at 0%, that means that's the minimum. Q1 is at 6, the median is at 7, Q3 is at 8, and then the maximum is at 12. And we can check that again, and the fave stats, and you can see that those are all the same. So that's what quantiles does, but the fave stats gives you more options. So in future videos, we'll do some graphical displays, but this is just a start of looking at how some of those numeric summaries that I did by hand in the notes, you can now do with R with these very simple codes. See you in future videos.